So we have yesterday we have discussed the we have started the discussion on plane wave solution of Dirac equation. So this is the plane wave solution which has a amplitude u of p and e to the power of exponential term, and this u has this wave function is actually a four component spinor. So accordingly u of p has four components: u1, u2, u3, u4. u1, u2 together we call it as v, and u3, u4 we together called it as w. Okay, then we substituted this expanded form of plane wave solution into the Dirac equation, so that the Dirac equation become like this. Then we substituted the matrices corresponding to alpha and beta, as well as this u equal to column vector vw, or it has four components u1, u2, u3, u4. Instead of that, we grouped them and wrote it as vw. Okay. Then we substituted for alpha and beta. Then we got, when you simplified this equation, we got two equations. One is E nu and another is EW. Then we again changed that into this equation, these two equations, with V on one side and W on other side. Here W on one side and V on other side. Now you substitute for expression for V from the second equation into the first equation. So here V equal to this one from the second equation. So substituted that V here. So that first equation becomes entirely in terms of W. So that equation is like this one. Now you simplified this, so we get e square minus m square c square w equal to c square p square, because sigma dot p whole square is p square. We have already written that earlier when we started the Dirac theory. So from this we get e square equal to m square c to the power of 4 plus c square p square, which is nothing but the relativistic energy of the particle. So E equal to plus or minus root of p square c square plus m square c to the power of 4. Let us take it as plus or minus epsilon. So here we cannot neglect this plus and minus. When you take the square root, you put the plus and minus. Okay, so energy has plus positive value as well as negative value. So you take the square root. Sometimes you may neglect this minus, simply take the root, but here you cannot neglect that, because we are already stuck with this negative energy problem in the Klein-Gordon theory. So this negative we cannot neglect at any cost. So you put that plus and minus here. Okay, so then let us find what are the I think up to this point we have taken yesterday. Now you take the square root, so E equal to plus or minus this quantity c square p square plus m square c to the power of 4, that is plus or minus epsilon. So that is plus epsilon and minus epsilon. Epsilon equal to this one. Epsilon equal to plus quantity and minus epsilon is minus quantity, so that epsilon is still root of p square c square plus m square c to the power of 4. So from this equation we have a negative energy. Dirac equation gives positive and negative energy solutions as in the Klein-Gordon equation. But Klein-Gordon, it was struck due to the lack of explanation for the negative energy. I told you that for a free particle, energy negative means something very complicated. We cannot simply say that it is plus and minus. This is energy. Energy is only zero or positive. Up to this point, we have studied only energy zero or positive. Now, potential energy can be attractive or repulsive. Accordingly, you can put minus and plus. But total energy is whatever we have learned is always, especially in the case of free particle, only kinetic energy is there. Kinetic energy is always positive, zero or positive. But what is negative kinetic energy? It does not mean any direction, as we usually denote plus and minus as directions of movements like that. This is minus energy. I think that the idea is very clear. Energy positive means something is there, energy is there. Energy zero means no energy. And then what is negative energy? Okay, suppose ഒരു കല്ല് നമ്മുടെ കയ്യിലുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ you can call it as positive. ഒരു കല്ല് നമ്മുടെ കയ്യിലില്ലെങ്കിൽ that is zero. Then what is negative? It is a question like that. Something very difficult to answer normally. What is negative energy state? I think, is it clear? നമ്മുടെ കയ്യിൽ ഒരു കല്ലുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് പോസിറ്റീവ്. നമ്മൾ കയ്യിൽ ഒരു കല്ല് വെച്ചു, അപ്പോൾ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് എ പോസിറ്റീവ്. നമ്മുടെ കയ്യിൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പൈസ ആയിക്കോട്ടെ, നമ്മുടെ കയ്യിൽ പൈസ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് പോസിറ്റീവ്. പൈസയൊന്നും ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് സീറോ. ദെൻ വാട്ട് ഈസ് നെഗറ്റീവ്? നമ്മൾ ലോണൊക്കെ എടുക്കുന്ന പോലെ ഒരു സംഭവം, കട എടുക്കില്ലേ, ലോൺ എടുക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ നെഗറ്റീവ് അല്ല. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ലൈക്ക് ദാറ്റ്, ഓൾമോസ്റ്റ് ലൈക്ക് ദാറ്റ്. സംതിങ് യു ഹാവ് ടു എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ലൈക്ക് ദാറ്റ്, നെഗറ്റീവ് എനർജി. ഓക്കെ, സോ Dirac bravely tried to explain what is the meaning of this negative energy. We cannot neglect the result of negative energy by giving any reason. This minus is not accidental. You have to give some explanation. Okay, to understand this, let us calculate the wave function solution of the problem. Now denote epsilon as plus quantity and minus epsilon as minus this quantity. So we have two possibilities. Okay, first you take total energy plus as positive, then we will take negative case. So first you take E equal to plus epsilon. We have two options, plus epsilon and minus epsilon here. So first take the plus epsilon, E equal to plus epsilon, so that is greater than zero, which is positive. Now for that case, we have solution. We have V and W. Okay, so solution we have four components, U1, U2, U3, U4. But accordingly you have V and W, two components. We grouped first two into V and the last two into W. So accordingly you take, for the positive take, you take V as arbitrary. Okay, then we can choose, see actually this equation, we see 1.49. What is W? 1.49. See this W equal to, this quantity comes to the denominator, C into sigma dot P divided by E plus mc square into V. So W equal to, like it will be like this, C into sigma dot P plus, here it E in the denominator, E comes, but that E we wrote it as epsilon, plus epsilon. Okay, so W equal to C into sigma dot P plus epsilon plus mc square into V. Okay, so nothing wrong with this equation because denominator is always positive. Denominator is not chance to be zero. Denominator is always positive. So this is a positive acceptable quantity. So nothing wrong in writing like this. So E equal to plus epsilon is an acceptable option. So in that case, you take two choices like this. V equal to, we have U1, U2. V equal to U1, U2. So you take 1, 0 and 0, 1. Separately consider two cases. Okay. So when is this clear? So we have U1, U2. V equal to row vector, column vector U1, U2. So take U1 as 1, U2 as 0. Then you take next case U1 as 0, U2 as 1. Take that separately. Okay. So we have u and v and w. We have w, you put it as 0, or w we will find out. W we will find out by taking v as 1 0 and 0 1, two cases. Okay. So first you consider the first case 1 0. So take v equal to 1 0. Then w equal to you substitute it here. W equal to C into sigma dot P. So we have written C into sigma dot P is written as sigma x px, sigma y py plus sigma z pz, then 1 0. That is V. Okay. Denominator we have epsilon plus mc square. Is this equation clear? It is the same equation. We have substituted for this in this equation 1 0. This we will consider later 0 1. First consider 1 0. Corresponding to 1 0, what is W? That is the question. And then corresponding to 0 and 1, what is the W? That is another problem. Okay. So I think this equation is clear. Is the equation is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now just simplify that equation. You substitute for sigma x, sigma y, and sigma z Pauli spin matrices. It is 0 1 1 0. Then 0 minus I 0 sigma y, and sigma z is 1 0 0 minus 1. Okay, all other things are same. You simply substitute Pauli spin matrices. Then you simplify the entire thing. You will get that you can work it out. 0 here is 0. This is 1. So 1 into pz. Pz will come here. Like that, you calculate each of the simplify. Add all these matrices. Add all these three matrices, multiplying with their components of P, then again 1 0 will come here. Again multiply these two matrices. This is a 2 by 2 matrices. This is a 2 by 1 matrix. So it will be, result will be a again a 2 by 1 by 2 matrix. So 2 rows and 1 column. So 2 by 1 matrix. This is 2 by 2 into 2 by 1. So that will be 2 by 1 matrix. So you multiply this, you will get this expression. This simplification you can check. Now in this expression, you put this px plus ipy. This is like a complex number, real part and imaginary part, like that. We have considered. We know such terms. This is like a complex number. You take that as p plus. So you can write it in a simple way: p z p plus. Okay, that is W. So this is W, this is V. So what is the, so let this one goes inside, C by epsilon plus MC square goes inside. So you can write this one like this: W equal to CPZ by epsilon plus MC square, CP plus by epsilon plus MC square. That is for 1 0. So that is V, this is W. So you can write it as a 4 component, 1 0, this one and this one. W. V and W is the 4 components. V has 2 components, correspondingly W has 2 components. I think this is clear. So we took the first case for 1 0. Next you take for 0 1. Take V for 0 1. Let us see, substitute the same thing. Here you substitute the same thing. Here you put 0 1. Okay, 0 1. Then you must simplify this matrix multiplication. You will get like this: px minus ipy. Okay, so px minus ipy, you take it as p minus. Okay, so that is equivalent to, just like this one, you put an equivalent symbol P minus. That is a representation P minus. So here it becomes P minus. Let this one goes inside so that you get to see P minus denominator minus CPZ divided by denominator. Okay, so this component, this total component will be 0, 1, and these two components. So this is V and this is W. Okay. So that is for the eigenvalue epsilon. The two independent solutions are, let us combine this 1, 0. When you took 1, 0 as V, these two was the W. When you took 0 and 1, these two were the solutions, W. Then now you put a normalization factor along with that. You can normalize that component. Each component you can normalize. Later you can find the normalization factor. Okay. Now this was the first case where we took V as arbitrary. Now just to do the reverse, E equal to minus epsilon, take W as arbitrary. That is the next case. So that I am giving to you as a homework. Take the E equal to minus epsilon, that is negative less than 0. So W take as arbitrary. Then W is nothing but 1, 0 and 0, 1. Correspondingly, you find the V. V is this one and V is this one. Okay. So from that 1.48, you can write V equal to this equation 1.48. That should be very careful because see 1.48. From this you write V equal to this one. Okay. E minus mc square in the denominator. So if you write E equal to plus epsilon, then there is denominator can be 0. If E is positive, E minus mc square can be 0. So V equal to some infinity will come. So you cannot take here E equal to plus epsilon. Only option is you put E equal to minus epsilon. So minus epsilon minus mc square. That is okay. Minus will go to the numerator. So epsilon plus mc square will come. Minus will go to the numerator. Okay. So that is the, here you have to take care. This minus will come. V equal to minus. Denominator is epsilon plus mc square. Again, no problem of becoming denominator 0. Denominator is always positive. That is required. Otherwise, division by 0 will come. So which is prohibited, division by 0. We don't prefer that division by 0. Okay. So in the, this is your homework. So similarly, in the same way, you find W, put W equal to 1, 0, find V, substitute it here, normally put the normalization factor N, that is U3 and U4. Again, take W as 0 and 1, find V. Okay, that is minus CP minus here CPZ minus CPZ here. Okay, like that. You find U3 and U4. That is your homework. You have to try that. Don't skip that homework. Try to obtain this one without any much problem. So you should enjoy that results when you are obtaining. So we got to 4 components. Okay, U1, U2, this one, U3, U4, this one. Okay, actually this U1, U2, U3, U4 are actually the components of the wave function which we defined the free particle solution. See, U equal to U1, U2, U3, U4. So each one, U1, U2, U3, we have separately found out applying different cases. Positive energy, these two corresponds to the positive energy cases, and these two corresponds to the negative energy cases because E equal to minus epsilon. Okay, this is the last two expressions is for negative energy, that is E equal to minus epsilon. Okay. Now for all the components we have put the same normalization factor n. Now we can find n normalization factor. That is also one of your homework. And before that we can consider that U1 and U2 are positive energy states, spin up states with positive energy. U1 and U2. U1 is like this 1 0 1 0 and 0 1. I think we have already did this in the non-relativistic quantum mechanics also. 1 0 means spin up, 0 1 means spin down. Okay, so spin up, spin down, both for positive energy. So U1 and U2 are spin up and spin down states with positive energy. Again, what is U3 and U4? Again 1 0 and 0 1, spin up and spin down with the negative energy. See, we Dirac successfully almost obtained some expressions for negative energy. It is almost equal or importance with the positive energy. The positive energy solutions have this expression. Negative energy also have similar expressions for spin up and spin down. Okay. Now let us find the normalization factor. You take any one of the component of U. Take first one, U1 dagger, U1 equal to 1. That is the normalization condition. So this is n square. This is transpose conjugate. So this is U1. So they take dagger, and dagger means transpose, then conjugate. Conjugate means P plus becomes P minus. Okay, no other change. Equal to 1. Now you can go through this simplification steps. N square into multiply, you will get a single quantity. 1 by 4 into 4 by 1 matrix, you will get a 1 by 1 matrix. So only single element. So n square into this quantity, you can check the steps. Finally, you will get n equal to 1 by root of this quantity. Okay. So that is the normalization factor. That is the homework. You check this simplification. Okay. Now you check the completeness condition. This is the completeness condition. Sum over u dag u ket u bra u equal to I. Okay, this is very important. You check that completeness condition. That is also homework. Okay. Now you put the summation for 1 equal to 2. Suppose you take summation, apply summation only for 1 equal to 2. Only consider the positive energy states. You can see that it is not equal to I. Completeness is not satisfied. Whereas if you take the 4 summation to 4, all the 4 components, then it satisfies the completeness condition. Then it becomes equal to I. So this is also your homework. You check the completeness. It is not easy. You have a lot of equations will come, but some of you have write and submit this. I am challenging who is writing it first and submitting this homeworks. Is there any wrong with this one? Okay. So what is the meaning of this one? When you take only positive or summation over y equal to 1 to 2, completeness not satisfied. When you take I r equal to 1 to 4, all the 4 states, completeness is satisfied. But completeness is a essential requirement of quantum mechanics. Space should be complete. I think you remember that idea. Completeness is an essential property of linear vector spaces or the Hilbert space formalism. Okay. So what is the meaning of this one? Meaning is that the 4 solutions are integral part of the theory. So negative energy solutions are not a disturbance. It is a must. Is the idea clear? So from these equations, we can see that positive energy states alone, or if you take R equal to 3 to 4, that is, you take only negative energy states alone, they do not constitute a complete Hilbert space, a closed Hilbert space. Whereas you take all the four states, both the positive energy states, both the negative energy states, they together form a closed space. So what is the meaning? Meaning is the negative energy states are integral part of the theory. So negative energy does not a nuisance. It is integral part of the theory. It is already built in within the theory. Only thing you have to identify it, what it is, you have to give explanation to that. Okay. Now you go back to the apply the non-relativistic case, put P far less than MC, that is the case. Then you can, in this expression, you can put this, apply this condition, P is very far less than MC, or P is approximately 0. Okay, then these four equations, uh, P is 0 means this P z is 0, P plus is 0, like that. P minus is 0, P z is 0. So 1 0 0 0, 0 1 0 0, 0 0 1 0, 0 0 0 1. The four components becomes like this. U1, U2, U3 becomes, you apply go back to non-relativistic condition, very small speeds, then U1, U2, U3, U4 can be written like this. Okay. So this is a remarkable change from Pauli's 1 0 and 0 1. There were only two states, but here we have four different states. So U1 is electron spin up, U2 is electron spin down. That means with the positive energy, these two with the positive energy. And later found that U3 and U4 are corresponding to negative energy states of electron, which is nothing but positron. So U3 and U4 corresponds to positron spin up and positron spin down. Okay. Now the only thing is that we have to give some explanation to this negative energy states. We have to interpret, give some explanation for to these four linearly independent solutions, and we have to give explanation. Now I can call this as positron because I not define what is positron. Later we will see that what is positron, and then you can accept these last two solutions for the existence of positrons, antiparticles. So these two are particles and these two corresponds to the antiparticles. So particle and antiparticles together form the complete closed space, Hilbert space. Okay. So we need to explain this additional 2 degrees of freedom. So Pauli spin matrices will have 1 0 and 0 1, but here we have four options, 4 degrees of freedom. So additional degrees of freedom we have to explain. So let us see what Dirac did. So Dirac explained this with the new theory, which is known as Hall theory. That was the physical meaning of negative energy states. Okay. So let us come back to the negative energy solutions of Dirac equation. We have already seen that in order to have a completeness condition, which is a basic requirement of quantum mechanics, the solution of Dirac theory should contain the four states with the negative energy. All the four states are essential. So the existence of negative energy creates problem in quantum physics as follows. See, when E equal to these were the expressions for energy. E equal to plus and E equal to minus. Okay. Now you take the positive energy case. So let us first see what is the problem. Then we will find the explanation for that. So you put the E plus equal to this quantity. Okay. Now let the particle is at rest. When the particle is at rest, P equal to 0, that is the minimum energy. E plus minimum equal to mc square. And E plus maximum, P can have very high value up to C, so this can go to up to infinity. E plus maximum is infinity. So E plus minimum is mc square and E plus maximum is infinity. So energy can of a positive energy particle can vary between mc square and infinity. Mc square is the rest mass energy and infinity is the maximum value of energy. Okay. Now for the negative energy stage, E less than 0, E minus equal to this one is a minus sign is there. So what is the maximum value of this quantity is again P equal to 0. Okay. Then E minus maximum equal to minus mc square and the minimum value is minus infinity. I think you know minus 2 is lesser than minus 1. Minus 1 is greater than minus 2. Okay, like that minus mc square is greater. Okay, maximum value. And minus infinity is the minimum value of E minus. Okay, now if you draw this as 4 stages, for Dirac electron, I will draw the diagram. The ground state defined by this negative energy states, you can call it as ground state energy. Okay. So let me draw that diagram. See, so here we have, see, like, let me draw this 4 stages. This is E plus minimum, and this is E plus maximum. That is infinity actually. Okay. Now this is E minus maximum, and this is E minus minimum. Okay. I will write this is so see this is mc square. I will write like this mc square, which is this one E plus minimum, and this is infinity like that. Okay, infinity I cannot draw, but still I am drawing that infinity, and this is minus mc square minus mc square. Okay, and this is minus infinity. Actually, I can draw plus infinity and minus infinity, but I'm still drawing that. It is etc. etc. It goes to infinity. This one etc. goes to minus infinity. Okay, I think the figure is clear. Now, see how we can interpret these things. So for Dirac electron, this is, you can call it as ground state. Let me, so this one you can call it as ground state. Okay, and this one you can call it as excited states, because this is lower state, this is higher state. So this is ground state and these are excited states. If some particle is here, you can call it as ground state or lower state. If some particle is here, you can call it as excited states. Okay. So for Dirac electron or Dirac particle, the ground state is defined by states with energy in between minus mc square and minus infinity. This one. while the states between mc square and infinity, there are a lot of states there. All the states in this range are known as excited states. Okay, so this is ground state is this one, and excited states are this one. Okay, now we know that the excited particle can emit radiation in two ways. One is spontaneous emission and another is stimulated emission. Okay, in spontaneous emission, what happens is the particle is excited uh, by absorbing energy due to some reason, and then it without any delay it gets de-excited without the help of any external field. Okay, so the electrons have any excited state. Suppose the electron is somewhere in the excited states here, it cannot naturally go back to the ground state due to spontaneous emission. Then electrons bound in an excited atomic state can jump into ground state by emitting spontaneous radiation. Suppose for an electron which is just bound to an atom can emit radiations of, when a particle is in this region here, it is energy is mc square. When it reaches ground state, energy is minus mc square. So the difference is mc square minus mc square, that is 2 mc square. Okay, this is the difference in energy. So this will be, this much of energy will be radiated. This is a huge energy. Okay, now again when it is at that minus mc square state, it can again go down to up to minus infinity by again by spontaneous emission. Is that idea clear? First electron can go from excited state to this lower ground state, but ground state itself contains a lot of states up to minus infinity, so it can again go deep and deep down to the up to minus infinity again by spontaneous emission, so that electron can go down up to minus infinity. That means atom is again becomes completely unstable.